Hello YouTube, it's Leah back again with another Smashbook flip through. This is the 2016 to 2017 book, which is, it's been overdue in getting finished because there were a few finishing touches and a couple of extra photos left to add, but it is finally done and ready to show you around. So this is another one of the official K&Co Smashbooks. I believe this was the mini play edition, and I did things a little bit differently in this book. I didn't add in extra pages the way I did with the first one. So as you can see, it is considerably less fat than the first one turned out, with all the extra pages crammed in, which means it should hold up a little bit better because this one is a bit fragile. Now I do have an elastic on the front of this. It was going all the way around, but it wasn't helping a lot, so I just basically restuck it so it's just on the front cover so I can keep these badges there. Most of these are souvenirs from Edinburgh Festival shows that we saw while we were there. I think that one was from the Beer Festival, so we'll come up on those events as we go through here. So it goes from July 2016 to I think it's either July or August 2017. We start off as we did in the first book with Pride Week in Bristol. So we've got the Pride Comedy Night. We've got just a couple of things that we did before that. So Jam Night at the Improv Theatre, a little thing torn out of one of my old notebooks from when I was at school. Just fond memories of one of my school friends. Got Pride Day itself. So we had some t-shirts made, which lots of people were very impressed with. We got quite a few comments on them. Saw Lucy Spraggan and Little Boots, and Little Boots actually threw some vinyl copies of her new album out into the audience, and I managed to catch one. I don't have a record player, but it's a nice souvenir nonetheless. We've got the start of Pokemon Go when that was released in the UK, and we had quite a few days out just adventuring. Here we've got, now that I was in the new job, I had the opportunity to dye my hair, seeing some just an art exhibition in an old toilet in Bristol, because that's what Bristol's like. This is a business card for an artist from the other art fair. These are all sort of a mix between paper cutting and photography and prints, which is very interesting. We went to see the new Ghostbusters movie, which I really, really enjoyed. It's very funny. Got a trip to Murder She Didn't Write, our friend's improvised murder mystery. In this edition, we gathered for a meringue party where Mrs. Violet was murdered by her brother-in-law for her childhood abuse of his wife. It was a lot of fun. One of my colleagues had an art exhibition actually at the same venue as this one. And sometimes people brought us treats at work. A little trip to Bristol Zoo. That was for a Pokemon Go actual event. Used their photo booths while we were there. We went to the Worcester Beer and Cider Festival with some of Will's uni friends. That was a lot of fun. Tried some scorpion chili chocolate, which is so spicy. Oh my god. It, like, to the point where you can barely taste anything else. There's that much chili in it. I highly recommend the Big O Donut Co. if you happen to be in Bristol and see one of their stalls about. And then we went on our way to Edinburgh for the festival. Got the plane up there because it costs literally as much as the train for about half as much time travelling, so Let's see, the first day we spent some time at the National Museum of Scotland and went to see Gillian Cosgrove in This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. That one was just kind of on a whim in the evening. We were just looking for what show is there that we can go and see, and it was a really, really good choice. She's very funny. Saw a lot of this silent disco walking tour making their way around the city. For example, singing Bohemian Rhapsody outside Greyfriars. One of our acquaintances was in this show, so when we saw them flyering, we decided we should definitely go along and see. Managed to catch one of my uni friends doing a preview of their production of Rent. This one, I Love Falafel, was a free show. You might have heard of him from Vine. He did a whole series called The Cheese of Truth, where he throws slices of Swiss cheese over newspapers. Actually went to see my friend's production of Rent at the Infirmary, and they're so good. It's a really good show anyway, but also they did a really good job. So I saw Mirth was another free fringe show that we went to see. We did get interrupted in the middle of it when the performer's phone went off, and it was someone canvassing for the Jeremy Corbyn campaign. On our last whole day in Edinburgh, we went and spent some more time at the museum, participating in our favourite pastime of comparing my boyfriend to Roman emperors and hanging out in spacesuits. Went to see our friends doing Murder, She Didn't Write again. On this occasion, it was a drag version of the show. This is the first time they'd done the drag version, just because they had some extra shows unexpectedly added to their run when someone else at the same venue pulled out. This is a card from my friend. She came to visit for my birthday, brought me a cool bookmark and a Shakespeare-themed colouring book. Mum came to visit and was finishing her new jumper at my house, so I stole one of her offcuts to stick in here. Been doing podcast recordings. Got presents when my partner went to Brussels on a work trip, and we threw a housewarming party and nobody turned up, but it was fine because we had a nice time anyway, getting drunk and playing with his telescope. That's not a euphemism. One of my school friends came to visit and we went to the zoo and then had just obscene burgers. There's this place called Three Brothers Burgers in Bristol, which is on a boat, and this has a beef burger and bacon and stinky French cheese and hash browns in it, and it's delicious. I'm actually salivating quite a lot, so if you can hear that, I apologise, but it's a really good burger. This is a page that actually just came together really nicely, considering that there's not a huge amount on it, but essentially we went to the Comics and Zine Fair, got some nice little goodies, dressed up nice for it, and then on this day we went to see a show that some of our friends were putting on about the formation of memory in the human brain, and we also went to Pho beforehand, which is a chain Vietnamese restaurant who specialise in noodle soups, and I am so disappointed it took me this long to discover Vietnamese food because it's great. And pho especially is just really quality, nutritious food. Got myself a dressing gown, so I stuck the label in there because it's adorable. This is the Halloween costumes. Lots of people thought I was supposed to be dressed as Poison Ivy, which is unfortunate because it's Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors that I was dressed as, and I thought the Chelsea Smile makeup made that clear, but apparently not. At a work Christmas party, someone made a big pass the parcel game, which was a lot of fun. Got bonfire night there, and then I did a stand-up comedy set. So my partner was involved in something called Science Show Off, which is billed as science cabaret. It mostly ends up being stand-up sets, and I had a really good time. And I'm pretty sure I made people laugh, which is the entire point. This is Christmas shopping with my mum. We got some fun t-shirts for my brothers and my partner from Mild West Heroes. We also went to pho, and that is some Vietnamese pho. That is one of the ones with lots of beef in it. And I know it looks like dirty dishwater, but it tastes a lot better than that. Went for a Christmas meal with my partner's family, so that's everybody sat around the table. And that's the joke I got out of my cracker. This is just from a little catch-up with one of my school friends. This is lots of the Christmas presents, things I got for everybody. Made a little stamp to put on my gift labels. Isn't this little jumper tag so cute and festive? These are from my brother and his girlfriend. They got us a big box of preserves and a cheese board as part of the celebration of having moved in together. My mum made a fairy for our Christmas tree. We went and visited one of our friends for dinner and did some Christmas crafts, making some Christmas baubles. Spent New Year in Birmingham so that I could see my best friend because she was in town. We went to Ed's for dinner on New Year's Eve itself, and then spent New Year's Day at the Sea Life Centre and watching Star Wars Rogue One, which again, if you've not seen it somehow in the last 2 years, I do recommend it. There's just a lot in there. This is just covering up the face of our friend's baby because I thought it was slightly inappropriate to put them on the internet, but we went and visited the baby on Valentine's Day. Went to see Moana, which I've continued to be completely obsessed with. The songs are so good, and took part in a little rally in town against Donald Trump because, you know, this is just a little postcard from Paper Chase, which I thought was really cute, and bought it on sale, and it seemed to suit this page, so in it went. On the back of there, we've got the first picture from my Instax camera, which I bought. I think I paid about £60 for the camera and 4 packets of film. It was on reduction, so we did that. We moved house into a new flat that has central heating and is much closer to work. We had our first party member die in Dungeons and Dragons when the Ranger's Mastiff got crushed by a giant boulder trap. It was very emotional. This is the business card for our podcast. It does flip out, but there's nothing on the back. Or there's nothing behind it, rather. There's just our details of where to find us on the back. This is my partner's brother's wedding. They did a really nice job of just putting everything together. It was such a nice day. We had really good food. They'd done all of the decorations themselves. There was a lot of origami and stuff, and it was really sweet, and we had a lovely time, even if their granddad was being like a little bit embarrassing in the way that granddads do. Got some lovely post come through to me. This is the Idiosyncra deck made by the Cracked Amethyst. It's now out of print, unfortunately, but she has made a few other beautiful decks. The most recent was the Body Language Tarot, which I really love. I've got one of those as well. And this one is the Tarot of Bones by Lupa Greenwolf, which I had backed on. I can't remember whether it was a Kickstarter or another crowdfunding site, but one of those, and that's when that came through in the post. I got very, very bored at work, and did some tiny origami stars for, well, these are the actual stars. They're bigger than actual size in the photo there. And then I dyed my hair blue, which I like, but not quite as much as the pink. We went to Museum of the Moon, which is basically a giant inflatable moon suspended in one of the buildings at the university. That's an artwork done by a local artist called Luke Jerram, who's done a bunch of other things, like turning one of the streets in town into a great big water slide, for example. We did there was a biology special of Science Show Off. Saw one of my friends again. We went to the M Shed, which is one of the museums in Bristol. It's the one that's focused on the city itself. These cool paintings of prize-winning pigeons. And we went out to the jail ferry steps. There's a little kind of food situation built out of shipping containers in the back of the museum, and had a very nice pie. Mine was, I think that was a lamb and rosemary one. I had a colouring contest at work and I won the prize of this Smarty Bunny. I bought some dice to play Dungeons and Dragons with. They are pink and glittery, so they're entirely my style. We went on a holiday with our friends over the Easter weekend to Hope Cove in Devon. Hired a boat on one of the days to go out on the water at Salcombe. We had to get off a little bit early because my partner was getting travel sick. So we went and bought fudge instead. We went to Wonderwool, which is a wool festival in Bwlch Wells in Wales. This is my mum in the jumper which she spun and knit from scratch. She got a Jacob fleece. They are spotty sheep. So all of this yarn is from the same sheep. I bought some goodies, including a sparkly spindle. And on my partner's birthday, we had a little party, and the day after we took the people who stayed over to the city farm. That is not so far from our flat. Had a birthday party for some of our friends. The theme was executive glitter fantasy, so I have added some sparkle to that picture. I don't know whether that's coming through, but it's there. And on my birthday, well, just before my birthday, because my partner's job consistently takes him out of town on my birthday, I got this adorable Ditto pretending to be a Bulbasaur plush and an entire sewing machine, and he also organised a surprise party for me. So that is me being alarmed by walking into our living room and having my friends all just bellowing at me. We went to Open Farm Sunday, which is just an event where lots of farms open their doors and hold events and let people come in and have a look around. So this is at a farm near to my parents' home. We were demonstrating the spinning. And this was Tales of Adventure, which is a Dungeons and Dragons based improv show that we went to see. Made myself a little cape to wear for Pride, so that's some of the offcuts from that, just dangled off there. Went and played Dungeons and Dragons in our friend's garden because it was really, really hot. We defeated a dragon. And just had a really good time. I bought myself some more new dice. It's becoming a little bit of a thing. And then we went to see Wonder Woman, and it's, again, oh god. I could wax lyrical about Wonder Woman for a very, very long time, but that really says it all. It wasn't being sort of a great year in global events, but that kind of made it worth living through. Pride Week again. We went to the dog show. This is Murphy, who is I think an English sheepdog, Newfoundland cross, and just the biggest, fluffiest boy. There was also a woman there with an Irish wolfhound, and every single person who came through felt the need to go over to her and remind her that her dog was really big, which was adorable. Went to see Murder, She Didn't Write again. This was the drag edition they've put on especially for Pride. And went to visit the museum for the pliosaur exhibition. Pride Day itself, so we've got lots of rainbows. That is the cape that I made with this. We just looked really, really good, and the shows were really, really good, and everyone was in a fantastic mood, and somebody brought costumes so that we could all dress up as a pride of lions. My brother graduated with a better degree than mine, so I have officially designated him the numerically superior sibling. We're very proud of him. Got some lovely post winning a charity raffle. Again, that's just covering up the personal information. Growing some salad. These cute post-it notes are from Flying Tiger, which I think are only have stores in Europe and the UK so far. But if you see one of those, do pop in, because they've got some really, really good stationery stuff. Helping one of my partner's friend to deliver a birthday present. They're going to come visit us at some point. They haven't so far, but go on. They did a Dino Mania event at the zoo, involving a whole set of full-sized animatronic dinosaurs. I believe they normally live in Texas, but a few of them were get loaned out occasionally. So the Quetzalcoatlus is literally 12 feet tall, which is terrifying. But I do love dinosaurs, so... This was a whole day out. We went and got some food at the street food market. This place does really good Japanese fried chicken. Went to the aquarium for a Megalodon exhibition. For scale of how big those jaws are, my partner is 6'2". I mean, it's a really big shark. It's just as well they're completely extinct. Saw a driverless car just about being demonstrated. Went to see Valerian, which is so good to look at, even if the plot and the performances don't entirely back it up. And we took a day trip down to Glastonbury. That's the town, not the festival. It's kind of it's full of hippies, is the thing about Glastonbury. But on the way back, we took the back seat on the bus and chewed bubblegum as if we were naughty schoolchildren. Had a trip to the trampoline park for my friend's birthday. We ended up having the place entirely to ourselves, which was pretty amazing. A little event at the Science Centre about... the theme was Would Animals Build a Better World? And we had some interesting conversations about how that might go. We got some brunch. That is bacon pancakes. There was an exhibition of skeletons at the M Shed, which was really, really interesting. They basically got together a bunch of human remains from archaeological digs in London and in the southwest of England, the sort of local area. And there's lots of information about how we can tell things about people from their bones. So some of them had the obvious signs of disease or of old injuries. And there was a nice thing about how to do that. I started doing a little bit of pen paling, so I made myself a couple of stamps to send along with that. I really love this little snaily guy. Went to visit our friends and their baby again. The baby was also wearing a space-themed outfit, so we matched. I had my friend come to visit and introduced her to the concept of bubble tea. And my mum came to visit. We went to see the Pliosaurus exhibition again, and I managed to find something that actually fit me in a vintage shop, which is an unusual experience. As we're just sort of wrapping up here, we went to New and Onion Fair. So this is a village in the Forest of Dean in Gloucestershire, and every September they have a village fair which is onion themed, and it's a surprisingly big event, and it is always a good day out. So they've got a village show section where we have these like 18-inch long leeks, and they also have some dressing up sections where you have models like Bulb Marley and the Wailers with I Shalott the Sheriff. Puns based on onions are kind of a big part of the day. Some really cool post from one of my new pen pals, this little cuddly parrot guy who's adorable. There's also a Totoro plush in there. Tales of Adventure again, and a little trip to Chili Daddy for noodles. Got some new shoes. And I just really enjoyed the little blurb on the back of the chopstick packet. Bad translations are endlessly amusing. And then we've just got the Ravenclaw blanket that I bought myself, and that is the end of this book. So hopefully it won't be as long before I manage to upload the next Smashbook flip through, because this little baby, which I showed you when it was freshly made and still blank, is almost done. We basically just need the last few photos and finishing touches in there. But yeah, that was my 2016/2017 Smashbook. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you've got any questions, comments or concerns, do let me know down below. And hopefully it won't be as long before I check in with you guys again. Thanks very much for watching.